Hey, what's up, everyone? Today I'm going to be talking about Gervanta Tank Davis and Issac Cruz that should be fighting pretty soon. I was taking a look at their rankings and noticed that Issac Cruz on Boxing 24, which isn't a belt website or anything, and I don't know where they get this data from, but they had him listed at Issac Cruz at 5 and Gervanta at 7. This probably has to do with the fact that he just hasn't been fighting any big names, and then the person that Gervanta fought doesn't even show up, which is I forget his name. I'm trying to look for him. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. He doesn't even show up. He's just like way off the list. And I think what's just happening in this lightweight division, it's a process of elimination. Their advisors are telling them to. I think Gervanta's team is kind of telling him, whoever it may be, is telling him to just hold off, let the other guys fight each other, hold off as long as possible. And this is what I always, if you listen to my channel, you'll kind of understand why I do not, I'm not a huge fan of Floyd, because Floyd's whole thing, marketing, his whole marketing idea was to stick to the zero, right? If you got a zero on there, even though if it's a lot, it holds no weight. The ranking or the score or your scoring, your win record, your record doesn't hold any weight. They can still market it to biased people or people that blindly love them, and I guess what you would want to call man, you can't even say that they're casuals, because some of these guys that have YouTube channels, they follow them like religiously. But here's the thing, I at one point thought like Blue Blood Sports, Akai TV, who else, Dante's Boxing Nation, just to name a few, they generally interview or are at fights, so they're biased. They can't go against, they've been allowed to go into their gym. And if you pay attention to Floyd, and if you're African American, culture-wise, you're just gonna have some common ground. There's gonna be some common ground with these type of fighters. So if you're smart, you hold your opinions to yourself if you want to be allowed to be in those events. Two, if you don't, and the next thing is, if you're honest, you're gonna get pretty much banned. The other day, Blue Blood Sports was mistaken by Floyd Mayweather's not promoter, his one of his little goons. What's that guy's name? I forget his name. Ellerby. Ellerby confused him for being a guy that hates Floyd, that talks badly about Floyd. And then Blue Bloods was like, he says, "When have I done that? When?" So he got his feelings hurt, which was hilarious. What are the odds, right? But yeah, so they're pretty much waiting for Tank to kind of hold back and let the other guys fight each other. And they're all doing the same. Teofimo was doing the same. The only guy that's trying to fight someone is Devin Haney. Devin Haney looks like he's trying to fight whoever he can get his hands on, and it probably due to the fact that, but he wants to do it respectfully, in the sense that he wants to get paid the right amount as well. You know, so a lot of people may come to Devin Haney and say, "Hey, let's do it," but for a ridiculous number. So he knows his worth. He wants to fight someone as long as it's fair. So Gervanta is now going to be fighting Issac Cruz, Pitbull Cruz, or what they call him, the Mexican Mike Tyson. I did see some of his fights, and I said, man, This guy, I love the way he goes to the body, and he hits really hard. I don't know enough about him. I don't even know enough about Gervanta Tank Davis. I think that's the thing. So I think right now what promoters and management is trying to do is, or in boxing in generally, the main thing is, if you can match your guy up against someone just close, just good enough to be viewed as a problem or an opponent, but you're good enough to beat him and look good. That's what it's all about, man. And then every now and then you just pick someone that's not a good opponent at all, and it makes you look like you're cherry picking. But other than that, they picked this guy, and I think it's going to be a problem. I'm going off of some of the things that I've heard on YouTube with trainers and people that are commentating on how that he is a little better than what most people may think. I think we got a good example of Kambosos. A lot of us in the States, we didn't do our research. We haven't watched his fights. We didn't know what he was capable of, and he got an upset. He created an upset in beating what's his name. I think this is the wrong guy to fight. I think Gervanta Tank Davis is more skilled, but regardless of how skilled you are, it only takes one punch to really. If you're super skilled and get hit pretty hard and rocked, if your legs are gone, it's not going to really matter how skilled you are. The one advantage that a lot of people don't see what got Floyd through a lot of battles, and no one in the history of boxing is ever going to get away with this. The amount of holding and hugging he did. He was not embarrassed to hug, hold, and clinch as long as it would save his zero. And I feel that even, I don't care what black fighter is out there, I just don't ever think that someone's going to get the exact same treatment. I don't know what he did to have this type of preference, if it has something to do with the fact that he only fought at some point in his career, he was only fighting in Las Vegas, and I think he played the odds and he realized, man, let me put something together where the odds are stacked to help me, not against me. And so I'm not going to speculate as to what he did that's illegal or who was in cahoots with him, but he did something because no one else was, and I think it's just common sense. He's going to be supporting a city and all of his fights were going to be there, so it was in their best interest to have him keep winning. There's some type of agreement that was done, whether it be directly or indirectly, with one of his staff members, promoters, or managers, because there's no way that any other fighter in the world, let's say Gervanta Tank Davis gets hit and he starts hugging every single round, the judge, the referee's going to say, hey, separate or stop hugging or stop clinching. Any other fighter cannot get away with that. Any other fighter cannot get away with running around the ring multiple times. If that happens to Gervanta Tank Davis with Pitbull Cruz, I think the fight, I think his, if he gets hit or rocked or hurt in any moment, I think it's going to take that edge away from him. The edge being the fact that I think he's probably, he may be the more skilled fighter, but the playing field can be leveled if he hurts him. And it'll end up the determining factor will probably end up being who has the best chin and who's able to land their shots more. Probably Cruz can recover from this fight better than Gervanta Tank Davis. If he loses, he's just like, I fought to the the guy everybody's promoting as one of the best guys, the number 3 guy or number 2 guy in the sport. Even though he's not ranked there, he's probably over promoted so much that the media and casuals have him at that. Even I have him because in a sense, when it comes to the lightweight division, I'm a casual because I don't know everything. I haven't been paying attention. I haven't seen everyone's fights, so I will label myself as a casual in those regards. But yeah, I think we see an upset. I think if he loses, I think the 135, 130, 135 division gets a lot more exciting because everything's being shaken up. Teofimo's abandoning the division because he feels that it's easy for him to maybe fight maybe sluggish fighters, someone that's bigger and a little bit stumblier like the big guys, even though we think that may work against him and these guys may be strong enough to just hurt him. But he's running, and Ryan Garcia is just waiting. The only guy he's interested in fighting is probably Gambosa's, which I doubt he'll go to Australia to fight him. And then he doesn't have any belts, so he's going to go fight Haney. He's most likely going to be fighting Haney. And then this is exactly what Ellerbe and Floyd Mayweather want. They want these guys to eliminate each other, possibly. They're probably hoping that JoJo beats Haney. Maybe JoJo fights Kambosos. Maybe Kambosos wins and they get the easier fight and they get all the belts with a 0 record, and then you got another Teofimo Lopez that's holding on to the belts and trying to fight, whoever they want, call the shots. I mean, early in Floyd's career, he says, "I fight for the money." I look out for my health. Remember that. So if this guy ever gets in that position, you can forget about any competitive fights. Well, we still don't have any competitive fights. We're actually this Cruz guy, Pitbull Cruz, I think may be an upset from what I'm hearing from guys. I saw a few of his fights and he hits pretty damn hard. His body shots are gonna win him that fight if he does win that fight. And if he hurts him, you can kiss that you can kiss the edge goodbye that Tank Davis has, because he does have an edge in the terms of his he's you can tell he's a very smart fighter that's a bit more skilled, but that can be balanced out with a few hard blows. You saw how Maidana wasn't the most skilled fighter, and in my opinion, he won that fight versus Floyd, even though there were a lot of over-the-top illegal punches thrown, but he still won it, and it was given to Floyd. But yeah, guys, that's it for this one. Please subscribe at the end of the video, and please give me a thumbs up. Please leave any comments you have, anything that you may disagree with that I've talked about is welcome. But yeah, that's it, guys. See you on the next one.